Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of our artificial grass installation guide video. In part 1, I've shared with you all of the preparations needed. If you haven't watched part 1 of this series, I'll put a link in the description box down below for you, or you can click right here to check it out. If this is your first time watching my video, welcome! My name is Phuong. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 boys. Here on my channel, I love to share our travel vlogs, parenting tips, and DIY videos, so make sure to subscribe to my channel. This week, I'll share with you the last steps to install the artificial grass. They include preparing the subbase for the grass to sit on, buying, installing, and finishing the grass. So let's get into it! Step number 5. Building the subbase. Subbase is the area directly underneath the artificial grass. It's a mixture of sand and gravel that you can compact tightly to the ground. The reason why we need the subbase is because it provides a hard, firm surface to support the grass and yet still allow the water to drain easily. Without a subbase, if you put the grass on top of dirt or soil, over time you end up with holes which create wrinkles and dimples in the grass. And it also reduces its lifetime. We choose a mixture of base rock and decomposed granite, or short for DG, as the main material for our subbase. It's a popular choice. Base rock are loose rocks that allow water to drain fast, and DG, when compacted, will break down and form a very smooth and hard surface that is perfect for the grass to sit on. We needed about 10 tons of DG and rocks, so we ordered from a local supplier and it had to be delivered from a truck.
Lightning-stricken cactus and it starts to rain.
It is such an impressive scene seeing how much dirt and rocks are being poured over into my house. The driver said that he actually had serviced the previous owner of this home a long time ago, so he knew exactly where to back his truck. This is another perk of buying from your local business. Now, we need to move them from here to our yard. The first layer to put down is the base rock. It will support the DG on top and provide a fast way to drain water from the grass. My hubby is at work again, so I make an attempt. It's definitely not enjoyable, but I think I can do it, given a couple days.
Lightning-stricken cactus and it starts to rain. The smell of steamed asphalt scented Novocaine. Nature's
A few moments later.
Luckily, my husband really enjoys the things I hate. He spent a couple hours after work to move the rock pile, and half of it had already gone. Having a good wheelbarrow is so important here. I swear, it makes this task so much more efficient.
lightning-stricken cactus and it starts to rain. The smell of steamed asphalt.
After a day, we almost finished the pile. We then use the rack to lightly clean and flatten the base rock layer.
You remind me of the Arizona thunder. Satisfy the times and make you wonder about the bigger picture in your life.
We add the DG pile on top of the base rock. This took us another half day. We only wanted the grass to be on half of the yard, so I installed an edge in the middle to divide the area. I used a plastic garden edge as the divider between the two areas. The kit came with a special nail, and I just need to nail the divider into the ground. Pretty easy.
Arizona thunder, the Arizona thunder tonight. You remind me of the Arizona thunder. Satisfy the times and make you wonder.
Because we're not gonna put grass on the other half of the backyard, so we'll only focus on putting the DG on the grass area.
Endless roads.
Then I touch up the area using a bubble level to make sure it's flattened and level.
About the bigger picture in your life, the simple times in the air.
Then we went to Home Depot to rent a heavy-duty compactor. It's a very heavy machine that used to compact the ground. It will make sure the subbase are flat and hard enough to support the grass layer. This is the one that we use.
When you start it, you push this forward. That's the operating position.
These machines are very expensive, so we found that renting them out for a couple hours is the most cost-effective way to get this job done. The guys at the store helped us fit the machine in the back of our trunk. Before compacting, it is very important to thoroughly wet all the DG layer. You will want to fully wet the area with lots of water, but not too much to form puddles. Then we start the compactor. When wet DG meets the compactor, it will flatten up and form a smooth surface. As you drive the compactor around, it should feel like you're walking on hard ground. Remember to add some more water if necessary. We worked on the compactor until the whole area was flat and smooth. Then we move on to the rest of the yard. This step is definitely not kid-friendly. The machine is very loud and it is very dusty here, so we hire a babysitter to help us look after the kids while we're doing this. After a couple hours, we ended up with a hard and flat surface. It's very stable to stand on. It feels like standing on a concrete pavement. It should harden even more after a couple days in the sun. Before returning the machine back to the store, I'll have to clean it up so we won't have to pay any cleaning fee. The machine is very heavy. It's about 180 pounds, so we had to come up with a hack to push it back to the trunk. And it worked so well. Job well done. Now let's return it to the store. Step number 7, buying artificial grass. At this step, we're very excited. We can now finally buy grass and lay them on top of all the hard work that we've done. There are a lot of suppliers for artificial grass on the Bay Area, but we choose Purchase Green. We went to a location in San Jose to see some samples, but we were very disappointed with this store. Before going to the store, I called to make an appointment, but for some reason, they didn't see us when we came because apparently they had another appointment. So they threw a bunch of samples outside for us to choose. So if you have to buy synthetic grass, I would definitely not recommend for this location. Well, things are not lost. At least we were able to try how each of the grass felt and came to a decision. The next day, I found out that Purchase Green also has another location in Concord, which is in the Bay Area too. So we drove there to purchase the grass.
Guess where I'd rather be tonight.
The staff here are amazing. With the help, I was able to order all the installation necessaries that I will need. And they're gonna ship it to my house in a couple days.
3 days later.
The roll is very heavy, so it would take 2 people to carry it inside. In total, I ordered 20 square feet of grass, 7 bags of infill sand, and 1 big box of anchoring stakes. I'll explain it to you later how we use these in the installation process. Step number 8, installing and finishing. Now, I'll align the roll in the direction that I want and unroll. When unfolding, you might notice all the grass seems very flat, but don't worry about this because as you let them sit outside for half a day, all the grasses will rise up. I love the color. It feels so good to run on it. I used a sharp knife to cut and wrap the grass layer around the corners. I bought the knife from Purchase Green as recommended by the staff. It cuts pretty well. I'll then nail the stakes into the ground so that the grass layer can stay flat. Here's the tip that I want to share with you. After nailing the stake in, you can use another stake to pull out some of the leaves around the stake. This will make sure the stake is fully hidden underneath the grass layer. Then I trim the edge of the layer to make it fit nicely within the border. And I just trimming all the other edges. Now, I use the stakes to anchor the rest of the grass layer to the base. It is recommended to put a stake every 10 to 12 inches. The stakes will help keep the grass down so you can freely run or play sport on top of it. It is so worth it to see Hayden smiling and rolling around. It is hard to avoid seams, which is the areas where 2 different patches of grass meet. While it is very hard to hide seams completely, you can make it less ugly by carefully cutting and lining the patches together. To connect the patches, I was instructed to use a long piece of parchment paper. I got both the paper and the turf glue from the store. Then I spray a good amount of glue on the paper and put the grass patches on top. The glue pipe is quite hard, so I had to use my feet to squeeze it out. I think the caulking gun might have made the job easier, but I didn't really think about using it. After all the grass layers have been installed, it is now the last step, which is adding infill sand. This tiny sand stays in the bottom of the grass layer and it helps the grass leaves to always stand up. To fill them, we just spray them around with our hands.
With someone who knows how to treat me right, playing with fire,
And then use the rake to spread them around.
playing with fire with you. Yes, playing with fire.
At first, I was kind of worried that the sand would stick to our clothes, but it actually stayed in the bottom of the grass, so after filling them, I've never seen the sand anywhere. It is really clean. And here's the results. We still have a tiny patch left behind the lemon tree, but overall, I think we handled the seams quite well.
Playing with fire with you. Yes, playing with fire with you.
And that is the second part of our backyard renovation series. We still have some more work to do, like installing the deck and building the fire pit area. So I'll leave that for part 3 and hopefully I'll have some time to work on it. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next week. Bye!
Playing with fire with you. Yes, playing with fire with you. Playing with fire